what makes what's the decision or thought process when you thought, oh, this is a story that's worth writing about? What gone through your head?
Well, it's funny, and I've been thinking about it. I'm not sure if I ever truly believed it was a story worth writing about, my own story.
Right.
I did have to fight off doubt all the way through writing the book. Because as I said, I am not a journalist who goes to war zones. This isn't a book about, conflict between the different ethnic groups. I'm not on the front line. It was my experience as an expat living in a country. And yes, I met fascinating people, but was I, me as the vehicle, like, was that enough? The whole time I'm like, is this enough? Is this enough? Right. And you don't really know until the book is published. However, as I was writing the last chapter of the book, the coup suddenly took place in Myanmar on the 1st of February. And I had a completely different perspective. I was writing what I thought was an optimistic, kind of lighthearted book about the opening up of Myanmar and what that change was like. But I thought my book is the first of many, many books about the new Myanmar, where KFC comes and Coca-Cola comes back and life is not so difficult. Now I think, gosh, is it actually a history book? It's taken on a new significance that I could never have known it would have. And that has made me rethink my second book, which is simply about me backpacking for a year. And I thought, I always just thought, that is not enough. That is not a book. And now I'm like, with COVID-19, there is no more travel. There is no more travel. So I felt, do you know what? You should write what is important to you, worry about it later, because our life is such that history is changed and it's made, and then suddenly what seems so ordinary, like life in the 1920s, in 2020 is absolutely fascinating because it's not the same anymore. So that's what I'm going to do. I've decided is to stop being riddled with self-doubt, and if it's a topic to me, then pursue that, because it's what I feel strongly about in my heart. And I still think, I know that my second book will probably, this is some eat, pray, love memoir, but I want to record it, so I'm doing it.
Yes. No, I totally get what you're saying. That was my first experience writing my first book too, because I've always also wanted to write a book, but you always think that you need some sort of external validations, like, oh, now you have the authority to write. So it's not until I was met with an accident, like, hey, come on, if I want to write a book, who's stopping me, right?
Exactly.
That's why, like, this is what I label them as the inner dragons that you have to slay. And in fact, I think the process of writing the book, like, you become, because you have to conquer all those, like, writing is not the hard part. It's actually conquering all the doubts, the fear that is hardest. Would you agree?
And yeah, I would. And, also it wasn't just my own self-doubt. I mean, publishers and agents had said to me, you are not enough. You are not, because I self-published my book, and it got, the idea and the book proposal got to an acquisitions meeting of a publishing company. So I was really close to getting a publishing deal. But the feedback that came back is, you are not famous. Myanmar is not in the news enough. And see, look, that changed. And it just won't sell, because a memoir needs to be written by someone who's famous, and you don't have enough followers on Twitter and social media. So, I was saying, well, actually, I'm going to do it anyway. And I decided, instead of getting another 10 more rejections, just go and do it. And again, I'm glad I did, because if I was to write the book now, if I'd been delayed in trying to get a deal, I wouldn't write the same book, because Myanmar's changed. So it wouldn't be as hopeful a book.